camera is my friend.
Cool. All right, nice. So thanks for this. First,
Absolutely.
Cool. What's your name?
My name is John Gatewood II. I'm named after my father, who's John Gatewood Force I. I usually go by John, but here in Japan, I have kind of a Japanese name, which is Kadobayshi. So Kado as in gate, wood as in a wood, and Kadobayshi.
So where are you from?
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the United States. You've heard of it. You've seen it in movies. It's a place.
How long have you lived in Japan? So you're in Japan, by the way.
I'm going into my 18th year. I guess I've lived here about 17, not quite 18. I came here after leaving university in the States to attend a Japanese university here in Kyoto. And it was awesome. I mean, parties, friends, like famous DJs, beautiful women, just like everything you would really want from an exchange abroad and more. So yeah, I decided to live here, and 17, almost 18 years flew by.
So how much has it changed? Have things changed?
The way that I live here, the things that I do here, I mentioned, all of that seems to be about the same. I mean, I'm a very simple guy. I like what I like. I do what I like. And so I think my life here is very peaceful. There's not a whole lot of stress for me. And because I do the things that I like and I like the things that I do, from 17, 18 years ago until now, it doesn't feel so much different. I mean, there are some things like on the surface.
Have you lived in Kyoto all the time?
No, I haven't. I was here for a couple of years, university at Ritz-Macon, and then after leaving Ritz-Macon, I got a job with the JET program down in Kyushu. At the time, I didn't actually know I was going to Kyushu. I thought I was going to be in a part of Kyoto called Saga. It turned out that I was going to be in Kyushu's Saga, which was not where I wanted to be. I wasn't in the best headspace when I was there. Like, I was happy to be in Japan, happy to, not be in Oklahoma anymore. But I wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't feel I was like my most affirmed self in the place where I was. It was, yet again on the JET program, I was teaching high school, which was a fantastic job. I met some great people, both Japanese and not. I mean, some Jamaicans, really nice Irish people, a couple of really cool Americans. I mean, just all kinds of people. But I just wasn't where I wanted to be, so I wasn't happy. And as I said, not my most affirmed self. So I look back on that time with a lot of kind of anger, just because I could have made choices then that would have made my life here in Kyoto maybe even, of course, it would have come sooner if I hadn't lived in Kyushu for 4 years, so I'd come back after one.
Yeah.
But I did learn some things there, and if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have gone. I would have come straight back to Kyoto.
Okay.
Sorry homies that I met in Kyushu. But I did spend 4 years there, and said, forgive my language, but fuck that place, and moved back here to Kyoto, and it's been fantastic, man. I really cannot complain.
Oh, wow. So you were teaching then in the JET program.
Yes.
Now in Kyoto, what do you do?
All kinds of things. Like, I work for a medium-sized Japanese company here that does concrete construction, real estate, and a couple of other things like solar power, and I mean, just a lot of different things, the company itself. But they have a few subsidiaries. I work for one of those subsidiaries that does kind of international things. So I translate, I interpret. I started in English school at that branch of the company that I work for, and I teach all kinds of students. And so, I mean, I do all kinds of things. I don't know if this is okay, I'm sure it is, but I work for Apple Japan. I'm a specialist. I also do a bit of modeling and TV work here in the Kansai region. Sometimes go up to Tokyo and other places to do different, modeling and I guess talent work. But I'm a kind of funny guy, and I think the Japanese also, they get that. And my lifestyle, or I guess the way that I work, affords me a lifestyle that I can really enjoy. So I do a lot of work, but I enjoy what I do, so I'm not complaining.
Cool. So I think I know you as like a DJ. You did.
I didn't mention that, but I do that also. Yes, I'm a four to the floor house head. I really love house music. Been into it since I guess 1991. My mom wasn't the hugest house head, but there were some bands and kind of other artists that she listened to back then, and I heard it and I was just like, what is this? Which led me into a house. I did a pretty long stint also with 1990s hip hop and a lot of 1990s like kind of alternative rock, but my heart has always been with house music, and I play mostly house, but for what it's worth, I love techno also. It's different, it's not the same. Yes. House and techno are two different beasts, but I love them both. And so yeah, thanks for mentioning. I do also DJ. From the fork that you might be able to see here to the rings that I have here, one says house music because I mean it. House music all life long. This is a ring I made as a set of rings to commemorate a big change in my life. This is only half of that set. These are rings that my younger brother designed when we were children. I was a dickhead of an older brother, and I beat him up, and he gave me some rings, and I remade the set in silver. I didn't actually make them, I designed them, and then a good friend of mine here made them for me. But yeah, I'm all about design, art, beauty. I actually graduated from an art school in the United States before I attended Ritsumeikan, the university that I came to here in Japan.
Your Japanese is obviously really good and
average at best.
Average, yeah, it blows me. I'm average. You're like, it blows me away, man. It's crazy. So like, what are some quick tips for learning Japanese? Do you have any?
I do have some, but they're kind of no-brainer things. The more you do it, the better. With everything, there comes a point where you might get tired, where you might hit a plateau. That stuff happens, but if you quit, then that's about where your language ability will stop. I mean, that's just one of those things. But if you push through and keep trying, keep digging, you will get better. You want to be in, of course, an environment that supports your goal, whether it's speaking, reading, writing, whatever you want to do language-wise. I mean, with Japanese, those are kind of the big parts of it, or I guess any language. But like if you have people that believe in you, if you have friends that speak the language, if you have certain resources available to you, I mean, whether they're video or manga or whatever it might be, dig into those things, love those things. Don't treat it as study, treat it as, something that you like to do, and go balls to the wall with it.
Nice. You mentioned manga. Do you like manga?
Not at all. Like, I'm kind of a weirdo when it comes to certain things, art, music, things like that. Like, if it's not what I dig, it's not what I dig, and I'm very vocal about that. I really like art. I really like fine art. I'm not saying that manga isn't high art. I'm not saying that it's fine art, but I'm saying it's something that I don't incredibly enjoy. One thing I do want to say, I think there's a certain wall that I can't quite get over when it comes to animation. I don't see people who look like me in the depth and breadth of what exists, or what I've seen anyway. Yeah. And so it's like, I love movies, I love film, but I see black folks, I see people that look like me, I see, a reflection of myself. I never really felt that with anime. I never really felt that with manga. Like, whether it was like Fist of the North Star or anything like that, it's just like, no one looks like me, or the one person that does look like me is just a thug or something. Like, I just don't quite feel that. I like Japanese movies. There's a director, kind of late, named Iwai Shunji. He's a beast. He makes really good films. There's another that, hopefully all of the people that might see this will know, but Kurosawa Akira, the director, I've seen 20 plus of his movies. Like, I was a fan and did some research, university level in his work. And Japanese music, there's an artist named Osawa Shinichi. He's actually from this part of Japan. He's a beast, a monster. He knows his stuff. He's just awesome. Tanaka Tomoyuki of Fantastic Plastic Machine. He's awesome. Tei Towa, I'm not sure actually if he's counts as Korean or Japanese, but he is definitely active on the Japanese scene. Love his work. I mean, fantastic dude. So Japanese movies, Japanese music, But even when I say Japanese music, I'm only kind of listing guys that are into like the kind of dance music. Not that they only do dance music, but in that world.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest pop fan. There is a guy named Chiba Yusuke who's a Japanese rocker, and whether it's Meshogun Elephant or Rosso or The Birthday, all the things that I've seen by him, or Star Sweet with him and Osawa Shinichi, all the things that I've seen kind of by him are real rock. It's not candy pop rock type stuff. I mean, he's a rocker, and it's super freaking cool to see and listen to him. As far as like Japanese arts, I guess those and maybe flower arranging, as strange as it might sound. I love flowers. I have for years. I studied for 3 years down in Kyushu. I didn't have a whole lot of things to do there, and I studied flower arranging there. I thought I'd pick it up when I came back to Kyoto, which is actually the home of my favorite style, which is Ikenobo. But my life here is a little bit too wild and crazy to facilitate, me taking time off to do flower arranging and whatnot. But I can see it everywhere. I enjoy it. But I think those are the kind of main things about Japanese culture, Japanese arts that I dig. If I had to say one more, which I'd like to say,
do say.
It would be Japanese comedy. And I think Japanese comedy kind of gets a bad rap from people who maybe don't really understand how deep it can really get. I mean, I dig Japanese comedy, and the image of kind of like, Japanese people maybe hitting each other on the head or falling off of a bridge or or just like eating. I mean, the Japanese, Japanese being the TV shows tend to like to show Japanese cuisine, and that's fine. But the humor here in Japan, I think, is really, really worth noting.
What comedians do you like? Sorry, jumping in.
No, you're totally cool. My favorite, and this is not going to be funny to any Japanese people because he's super famous, but Akashiya Sanma. He's from this, part of Japan, the Kansai area. He is a monster. He's so funny. He's so smart. He's so sharp. His ability to kind of play catchball, like to really make other people funny too, is incredible. There's a lot younger guy named Koyabu, and I've met him a few times. Worked with him on some kind of TV shows and whatnot. He's a beast. I can't say that Koyabu is my second favorite. My second favorite is probably Matsumoto Hitoshi. He is, as far as I'm concerned, a bona fide genius. Like, as a director, like I'm actually getting goosebumps just thinking about it. As a director, as a two-person stand-up comedian, he's a beast. Another guy who's not actually active anymore is Shimada Shinsuke. Like, there's some reason why he's no longer active. It's, in my opinion, BS, but he's no longer on the scene. But he was incredible. Those guys are really my favorites. Sanma-san, Matsumoto Hitoshi-san, Shimada-san, and then maybe Koyabu-san. Yeah, those guys they're incredible.
Nice.
But that's just, I mean, the top of the iceberg. I mean, like really, like I really dig Japanese comedy.
So how about Kyoto? So you obviously live in Kyoto. Do you have a favorite place? I mean, Kyoto's full of tourist places, but is there a favorite place you have? Doesn't have to be a temple or anything.
Yeah, I understand that. There are a few places that I really like here for widely varying reasons, but one of them is Ritsumeikan University. I mean, like, it might be kind of hokey to say that, but I really had a good time there. I mean, I met people that I love today. I met my boy JJ, my boy Roy, my sister Lauren. I met a guy that actually I still work with today. Like, he didn't actually study there at Ritsumeikan, but Tefan. He's a Korean Japanese, good people. And don't get me wrong, there are 137,546 people that I'm not mentioning, but I mean, I met you guys there, and so I really thank Ritsumeikan for putting me, with you. I could have gone to a lot of different schools, but I picked there, and I'm so glad that I went. Another spot that I really like is Imadegawa Street. It's a street that runs east-west here, and I just have a lot of memories from there. Like, I spent great times with homies walking that street, spent great times with past loves on that street. It holds lots of memories for me. Another place would definitely have to be Kamogawa. Like, whatever spot you are on that river, it has kind of like a different face, whether you're up north around the Kamigamo area or whether you're kind of further south around Shijo or Gojo. It really has a different face. And I mean, I've just had a lot of good times in a lot of different places here in Kyoto. It's hard to say them all. Wouldn't want to say them all. Wouldn't want to try. But temples, my favorite is Tenryuji. It's out in the western part of Kyoto City, a place called, I guess, Ukyoku. And it's just everything you need out of Japan. It has a beautiful pond. It has a beautiful kind of pagoda-style temple. It has the moss that grows over rocks. It has beautiful maple leaves. When it's that time of the year, it has like a huge dragon, which is pronounced Ryu in Japanese. And I mean, it's just like, okay, I'm here. This is Japan. Every, kind of stereotype that you might have of the Asianness of this place, like, okay, it all exists in this one spot. Bonkers. So I really like that place. But there are so many more. Club Worlds. I've danced my ass off there. Metro, Club Metro. I mean, never-ending list of places that I really enjoy. I mean, if we get into like restaurants and whatnot, I mean, really, we'd be here all day. But yeah, I really love the city.
Let's touch on your fashion, because one thing about you is that you're a very stylish guy. I don't want to say fashionable, because I don't think you follow fashion, but you got your own style. So how do you have difficulties getting clothes here, or what do you feel about Japanese street style or fashion?
Yeah, well, I guess to kind of answer your question, yes, I do love fashion, and I don't necessarily follow trends per se. Like, I found what works for me and go with that. I think style is a part of what it means to be a person today. I mean, not everyone has their own style, but not having a style, I think, also is a kind of style. But as far as when it comes to like shopping, I don't have as much problem finding clothes per se as much as finding shoes. Like, I don't have a huge shoe size, but it's large enough that whatever cute Converse kick, whatever cute Adidas kick, whatever cute Puma kick that I might want, they're probably not going to have it in stock. And so I do a lot of shoe shopping online, but there are just go-tos that I have. Like, to be honest, this scarf is Uniqlo. The black kind of fitted shirt that I have on underneath is Uniqlo. The jeans that I'm wearing are Uniqlo. The socks that I have on are some that I just found on some like weird online site. Ordered those in from Amazon. My kicks today are red and white Converse, but they're Converse Japan. And of course I got them online because they didn't have my size in any of the shops that I wanted to purchase them out. The kind of fillers, my belt, my watch, my wallet, things like that are all Diesel, I think the Italian brand. And so, I mean, it's a mix of different things. I really dig Obey from maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago. They had some really cool caps that came out, and I bought probably more than I should have. But it's a mix. This time of the year, winter, this is usually how I roll with a leather jacket. This jacket is also Diesel, sorry for not saying so. But in the summer months, you'll catch me looking like a clown. Like circus style, man. I mean, colors from here to there. I mean, everything along that spectrum. So I basically wear what makes me feel comfortable. I'm not a big enough guy that clothing shopping is a problem, but when I was working out more regularly, I'm still working out regularly, I'm just not at a gym anymore, it did become a problem, but not so much that I couldn't buy what I needed here. And so yeah, it's not as bad for me. I'm only 5'10" or 178 centimeters, so if I were shaped like a man, then yeah, it'd probably be more problematic, but I'm a small guy, so it's no problem.
Yeah, so you box off a nice soba. What Japanese food would you say is like your top dish?
Yeah, this is something that I don't think comes up enough when people mention their favorite Japanese food, but there's a type of, I guess, so quote unquote Japanese pancake called okonomiyaki, and here, especially in the Kansai area, it's really popular. But there's a place a little bit further west of here called Hiroshima, and the Hiroshima style okonomiyaki. Don't get me wrong, I give all props to Kansai. Kansai okonomiyaki. Hiroshima fu okonomiyaki is how I'm going to say it. But to be honest, their style is better. It's awesome. My boy Sagami Tosk, he's a chef, he's a cook. He's from Hiroshima. The Hiroshima style okonomiyaki that he makes is bonkers level delicious. But everything is good. I mean, I ate noodles earlier, just like some soba style. Fused flavor, I guess, flavor-wise, matcha infused. And I do sushi, I do sashimi. Basically, living in a city the size of Kyoto, you can get everything. If I want a hamburger, like a real substantial kind of American style, if that's okay to say, hamburger, I can get one at Burger Company. They're killer. If I want Japanese sushi, there's a place literally a 37-second walk from my apartment called Sushi Zen. It's incredible. Been in business for like 70 some odd years, from father to son and next to grandson. If I want Spanish food, if I want Mexican food, if I want Vietnamese food, if I want Thai, if I want Thai curry, if I want Japanese take on curry, if I want Nepalese curry, like all of that is like within a 5-minute bike ride of where I live. And so when it comes to food, I'm never really hungry for something that I can't get. That's a lie. The one thing that I can't really get here in Kyoto is American style barbecue. There's a place in Nagoya called, I think, Midtown, and they do really good barbecue. I mean, a white person runs the spot. I don't know his name, so I can't say it here, but Midtown is incredible. Drawback, not in Kyoto. 45-minute bullet train ride, but definitely worth it. But aside from that, I can get really everything I need here in Kyoto. So food, I do everything, raw, cooked. If the Japanese do it, then it's probably worth tasting. And so I don't have any qualms about, or how do you say, reservations about jumping in and trying something new. Whether it's seafood or of the land or of the mountains, just bring it on. I'll do it.
But is there anything else you want to accomplish in Japan or in Kyoto, and how are you going to do it?
Yes, to answer that question, I have a couple of dreams remaining for my life here in Japan. For what it's worth, I did get the Japanese green card, so I have permission to stay here until I'm dead, and that's what I plan on doing. And I do intend to stay here in Kyoto. It really is just my favorite place. Like, the dream for me was to build my own home here in Kyoto, like to actually buy some land and build the house that I want to live in. But let's face it, it's kind of cost prohibitive. The land here in Kyoto City, especially the part of the city that I want to live in, is fuck you level expensive. Oh, you want to live here? Fuck you level expensive. And forgive my language, but it is what it is. And I could, make some investments and, maybe draw back on the size of the house that I want, but I finally decided that I could invest in, the kind of narcissistic dream of buying a home to live in, or I could, stack those funds and put them towards other more important things for the future. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards now. Like, instead of like buying a home and buying land and building a home here, probably just gonna, enjoy living in the nice apartments, the nice quote unquote mansion that they do here in Japan. And if the time comes that I want to purchase something, then I'll do that, pull that trigger. So that's a dream that's no longer a dream, but it is something that I've been thinking about. And as far as how I'm going to do that, just stacking funds, man, making that bread, stacking that grip, however you say that in whatever country you're from, just putting those beans together to make, more beans. So it's really just saving, making good investments, and that's what I'm doing. So I guess technically I could maybe, buy a house now, but as I said, saving up for a rainy day. kind of more important things on the horizon.
Yeah, where can we find you?
You can find me a lot of places. If you want to see more about my love of Japanese fashion, shoes, things like that, and DJing, then you can find me at Meaner Kids Fashion Police. So meaner_kids_fashion_police. And of course, you can also find me on like Facebook under my name, which is John Gatewood II or Kadobayshi John. I do a little bit of stuff on Twitter and things like that, but probably better just to catch me on Insta, on the gram, or Facebook. Really, thanks for your time today. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks for your time, man.
Absolutely.
Had an eventful day.
Definitely.
All right, cool. All right, so
Mad love,
peace.
guys.
Cool.
Peace.